Hello and welcome back. Dear learners, in this series we have learned about the origin of the Russian language. We have also discussed about the Russian alphabet, and in Russian alphabet, as you know, that we have 33 letters. Out of these 33 letters, we have 21 consonants, 10 vowels and 2 signs. They are called Tvrdy znak and Myakký znak. We have also discussed about the devoicing of the consonants in Russian. With the help of several examples, we have learned that how the devoicing of consonants play a vital role in the pronunciation of the words and expressions. Dear learners, in Russian language, as we have talked about the adjectives and nouns, the relationship between the adjectives and nouns depending upon the gender of the nouns. As in Russian, we have 3 genders. These are the masculine, feminine and the neuter gender. According to the ending of the noun, the gender of the noun is defined. As we know that whenever the noun is ending in a hard consonant, for example, drug, brat, dom, etc., it belongs to the masculine gender. Likewise, for feminine gender as well, if we have a noun ending in a, ya or iya, it belongs to the feminine gender like komnata, sanatoria, auditoria, etc. They belong to the feminine gender. According to the third gender in Russian, as we have the neuter gender, here you can find out with the ending of the noun if it is ending in o, ye and ie, like okno, more and zdanie. They belong to the neuter gender. For example, as we have just discussed, in Russian for sanatorium we have sanatori. The word is sanatori, and accordingly it belongs to the masculine gender. These all Russian nouns which have their specific genders, accordingly their adjectives are also used in the same fashion. For example, if we have a masculine gender word, we have человек. For человек we can use a masculine gender adjective like хороший, большой, маленький человек. Accordingly, for feminine gender, if we use adjective, the ending would be хорошая девушка, большая женщина, or simply маленькая комната, irrespective of whether it is animate or inanimate. Likewise, in the gender of neuter gender nouns, we have endings for the adjectives like хорошее, большое, маленькое, синее, etc. These kind of endings are used in the neuter gender nouns. Dear learners, we have also discussed about the conjugation of verbs in Russian. We have discussed that how these verbs are being conjugated depending upon the ending of these verbs. Let me give you a few examples of such verbs. As we have learned читать, we have also discussed about that while conjugating any verb, we use the personal pronouns. The personal pronouns are ya for I, ты for you singular, on for he, ana for she, ano for it. We have мы for we for you plural, and ani for they. Please pay attention while I conjugate verb chitach so that you can understand and revise how these verbs are being conjugated. Verb chitach means to read. Ya chitayu, tu chitayesh, onana chitayet, мы читаем, вы читаете, они читают. Likewise, we have more such verbs with different endings, such as учиться. Please pay attention to the verb conjugation. Я учусь, ты учишься, он она учится, мы учимся, вы учитесь, они учатся. We have such other verbs in Russian where the ending is different, like in the verb жить, which means to live. Я живу, ты живешь, он она живет, мы живем, вы живете, они живут. If you pay attention to the pronunciation and conjugation of these verbs, they are totally different from each other as their endings are different. So, likewise, as we have advised you in the earlier sessions that you must remember the verb conjugations, and for the convenience you can write them along with their distinguished endings. It would be much easier for you to remember them. Let us revise a few more verbs which we have done in the earlier sessions, like завтракать, обедать, ужинать. Завтракать means to have breakfast, обедать means to have lunch, and ужинать means to have dinner. Likewise, we have done a few more such verbs like работать, отдыхать, and любить. Работать means to work, отдыхать means to take rest, and любить means to love. Let me conjugate once again one verb for you so that you can understand how we conjugate these verbs in a correct and efficient manner as well as in a right sequence. Please pay attention to the verb conjugation and pronunciation. The verb is любить, to love. Я люблю, ты любишь, он она любит, мы любим, вы любите, они любят. So, here learners, if you pay attention to the pronunciation and exact form of conjugation, you can use all such verbs in your own sentences. In Russian, as we have been making different kind of sentences like simple sentences, interrogative sentences, affirmative sentences, and sentences of negation. The intonation in the making of sentences play a very important role. That is why whenever we are making a sentence or using it in a text, please pay attention that the tone and texture of a sentence is falling on a correct place or not. In the earlier sessions, in the form of text and dialogues, we have also discussed about the usage of various forms of verb conjugations. We have also used various new Russian words and expressions. For your knowledge, we have also used several such expressions which we use in our day-to-day communication, like for hello we have Zdravstvuyte and Privyet. For good morning, afternoon and evening we have Dobre utro, Dobry dzień and Dobry večer. For asking somebody, we have an expression Skажите, пожалуйста. For wanting something or simply for saying give me please, we have an expression Дайте мне, пожалуйста. For asking somebody that how old he is or she is, we use expression Skolka вам лет. And to reply to that, we use мне for I am. Likewise, in Russian, we have done the counting. In Russian, as we have counted from 1 to 30, 40, 50, 60 and so on so forth, we have also discussed about the days of the week in Russian along with the months of the year. Let us revise these days of the week first, then we will revise the month of the year along with the counting. The days in Russian, as we call them collectively in a week. The week is неделя. The week has 7 days as Monday, понедельник, Tuesday, вторник, Wednesday, среда, Thursday, четверг, Friday, пятница, Saturday, суббота, and Sunday as воскресенье. You can also use all these days in your own sentences. We will be discussing more about the use of these days in a week in our coming lessons with the help of a new expression called когда, means when. In a preposition case where we will use prepositions like va and na, which means in and at, will be used. Before that, let us revise the countings in Russian. As we have learned about that how counting in Russian is used from 1 to 10, let us revise this once again. 1 is один, 2, 3, 4, 5 as 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6 is 6, 7 is 7, 8 is 8, 9 is 9 and 10 is 10. And accordingly, you have just learned that how 1 to 10 counting is being used while making such words of counting from 11 to 20 and so forth. We will be following the same fundamental rule while learning the cardinal and ordinal numbers. Like for один we have первый, for 2 we have второй, for 3 we have третий, for 4 we have четвертый, then for 5 we have пятый, for 6 we have шестой, for 7 we have седьмой, and for 8 we have восьмой. For 9 and 10 we have девятый and десятый. You can use them as an adjective along with a noun like первый этаж means first floor, второй этаж second floor, like this. You can also learn about the months of the year. Let us learn them once again. As in Russian, word for year is год and the months are called месяц. For 12 months we have 12 names in Russian. For January we have январь, for February we have февраль, for March we have март, for April we have апрель, for May and June we have май and июнь, for July we have июль, for August we have август, for September we have сентябрь, for October we have октябрь, for November we have ноябрь, and for December we have Dekabr. So, this fundamental expressions in Russian we have learned and revised. Let us learn a few more new Russian words and expressions with the help of text. As we have talked about various text in Russian, and in the text we have used several words and expressions. These words and expressions along with verbs in their conjugated forms are being used to understand the basic feature of the language. Please pay attention to this text in a dialogue form so that you will able to make your own sentences in a more efficient and correct manner. Please pay attention to the construction of sentences, intonation, pronunciation and meaning of such words and expressions while I read it for you. Однажды вечером Sasha и Ashok разговаривали. Однажды is an expression which means once. Вечером Sasha и Ashok разговаривали. Here we have a verb разговаривать means to talk or to converse. Однажды вечером Sasha и Ashok разговаривали. Once in the evening Sasha and Ashok talked. Ashok. Sasha, какой месяц самый холодный в Москве? Ashok. Sasha, which month is the coldest in Moscow? Sasha. Декабрь и январь. Sasha replies, December and January. Ashok. А какая тогда средняя температура? Then Ashok is saying that, and which is the common temperature? Sasha. Средняя максимальная температура 9 градусов, а средняя минимальная температура где-то минус 4. As in Russian, for degree we use a word градусов for plural. In singular it is градус. Since we have used девять and we know that after 5 it changes into градусов. If it is a masculine gender word. That is why 9 градусов. А средняя минимальная температура где-то минус 4. For plus and minus we have plus и минус in Russian. Here the maximum is максимальная температура, the maximum temperature, and минимальная температура is the minimum temperature. Ashok. Это очень холодно, а когда бывает снег? Ashok is saying that this is really cold and when snow falls. Sasha. Снег бывает почти всю зиму. Sasha is replying that the snake falls almost the entire winter. In Russian, for summer we have лето and for winter we have zima. Please remember these expressions. Лето and zima. Начинает он падать где-то в октябре и кончается где-то в марте. Snow falls almost the entire winter. It starts to fall around in October and it ends in March. If we pay attention to the next slide, here Ashok is saying an expression, Oi. It is an informal way of saying with an exclamation. Как интересно. Почти полгода у вас идет снег. He is with an exclamation saying it is very interesting that almost entire half year you have snow. Москва в этот период, наверное, совсем белая. He is saying that Moscow during this period is almost white. Sasha. Да, весь день лежит снег. Sasha is replying that yes, the entire day there is snow. И на улице, и на крыше. On the streets, on the roof. И в парке, в саду. In the park and the garden, буквально везде. Везде means everywhere. When we use this expression bukvalna vizye, it means almost everywhere. Ashok. A u nas sneg bivает только на севере. Ashok is replying that while in India we have only snow in the north. В горном районе. India жаркая страна. Only in the hills. India is a hot country. Sasha. Да, у вас очень жарко. Since Sasha is a Russian, he has no doubt about it. He is replying that да, у вас очень жарко. Yes, you have very hot climate, he meant to say. Моя мать несколько раз была в Индии. He is saying that his mother been to India many times before. Она всегда говорит, что в Индии бывает только 3 сезона. She always says that in India they have 3 seasons. Жарко, очень жарко и очень жарко, which means hot, very hot or very hot. Listening to this, друзья громко засмеялись. The friends started laughing very much. Dear learners, if you pay attention to the words and expression used in this text, we have температура, which means the temperature, and we use it with максимальная температура и минимальная температура. Средняя температура, минимальная or максимальная means common temperature. The average common temperature, the highest and the lowest. We also have an expression холодно, which means cold. Antonym of холодно is жарко, which means hot. Then we have another expression бывать снег, means to happen snow. Бывать снег means happen snow in a region in Russia as we used in this text. As Ashok has asked, это очень холодно, а когда бывает снег? Because when he asked Sasha about the maximum and the minimum temperature in Russia. Accordingly, we have more expressions in this text such as почти, which means almost. When Sasha replied to it, снег бывает почти всю зиму, he says that snow falls almost the entire winter. Начинать is a verb which has been conjugated form in this text be used as начинает он подать где-то в октябре и начинается где-то в марте. So for verb начинать, which means to begin, and кончать, which means to end, are being used. In the next paragraph, here we have such different other expressions like интересно, which means interesting. If we use очень with интересно, it would mean very interesting. Then we have used another expressions with почти, полгода. So we have год, which means a year, and if we are adding it with полгода, it means half a year or 6 months. У вас идет снег. Идет is a conjugated form of идти, which means to go. Here as an expression with снег we have used идет снег. It means the snow is falling. Москва в этот период наверно совсем белая. Here we have used period, which means period or duration in Russian. Наверно совсем белая. Наверно means probably. Совсем белая means almost white. As here we have an adjective белая, which has been used with Moskva. In the next dialogue here, you can also see that these expressions like снег лежит. Лежать, лежить means to remain. Да, весь день лежит снег. The entire day the snow remains. I na ulice, on the street, na kriše, on the roof, v parke, in the park, v sadu, in the garden. You can see that how these nouns are being used with prepositions and they are being used. In the coming lesson, we will be discussing more about the usage of prepositions like va and na, which means in and at. If we look at the last dialogue between Ashok and Sasha, here are few more expressions like Unas sneg bivait tolkana severe. As we have discussed about the directions in Russian, like north is sever, yug is south, Vostok is east and Zapad is west. Gornam rayone. Here again we have used it with preposition Gornam rayone, in the hilly regions. India жаркая страна. India is a hot country. Accordingly, in the last paragraph also, if you can pay attention, that please see that here we have used a few more such new expressions like season. When we are counting season and 3 сезона means 3 seasons. Жарко, очень жарко и очень жарко. So in a very humor way that they have used, that in India we have 3 seasons. It is hot, very hot and really very hot. With this we will conclude this session here, and in the next section we will be talking about the use of prepositions. Thank you.